Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Navigation Officer's Report, Mission Alpha Charlie 67. I am giving this confession as required of me of my own free will. I am currently restrained. Where do I start? Well, let's put it this way. Flying through the galaxy is not as glorious as it actually sounds. The Academy tells us how exciting it's going to be, all the cool worlds we'll see, and all the new species we're going to help. I am the navigation officer aboard a Restoration-class space vessel, which is simply mind-numbing. I know that's what I signed up for, traveling through space, fixing planets. That's what we do after all. Find the broken ones and fix them up. Some of us, like my former captain, Captain Copernicus, are a little overzealous. He wanted this planet, he wanted to, investigate this planet on the way home. He said it would only take a few Earth minutes. It's his fault I'm here now. As we entered the atmosphere, the captain declined raising the shields because, in his words, Earth is a low-tech planet. They pose no threat to us, but they sure messed up their world, as he chuckled. He was right. The scans were off the chart. In his mind, he had found a gold mine that would give him praise from the agency. Look where I am now, a prisoner. I just wanted to go home. Anyway, there was a series of large explosions from all over the ship when we entered Earth's atmosphere. Then everything went black. Sorry, I woke up to a dark sky. I could barely see the sun through ominous clouds. My head was pounding. There was a giant mountain with magma flowing over its banks in the distance, pouring endless amounts of dark smoke into the atmosphere. The ground was rumbling, and a never-ending violent streak of lightning kept my attention as it was strewn across the dark sky. This place was definitely worse off than we originally thought. I could hear the captain and other members of the crew in my head because we are required to wear these blasted implants. That's another reason why I'm here, these stupid implants. I took my attention off the brilliant sky and looked around. I saw pieces of the ship aflame all over the landscape. As I looked around, I heard the captain mutter in my head, and we were ordered to locate all of the pieces of our ship and get the communication arrays in place. And just as he finished his thought, the dirt around me lit up and were spitting dust all over me. I couldn't see where it was coming from, but I was sure it was some kind of earth weapon. I had nothing. I felt lucky just to be alive. I scurried over a sand dune, and as I looked back, I saw him. A wrinkly old white-haired man, wearing some kind of a long white trench coat covered in red and green stains. He pointed at me, and I knew his intentions were hostile. I forced myself to fade back to the task at hand, find the communications array. So I started combing the desert. I saw a piece of the ship off in the distance, so I made my way there as quickly as I could. As I got closer, I could see a bunch of natives wearing black messing with the wreckage. All of a sudden, some giant airship with blades faded into view. The natives hooked up some kind of rope or cable to the debris, and the airship lifted off. I informed my crew that they were gathering up our valuables for us. The captain didn't think that was too funny. A few moments later, and the airship was gone, along with that chunk of our ship. I was about to start off after the airship when I felt a stabbing pain in my neck. I grasped my neck, some kind of a shot needle with feathers on it, and I fell to the ground. I blinked once, and I saw that white-haired native old man, and he mumbled something that I didn't understand. When I awoke, the lights were blinding me in my eyes. I was lying restrained to some hard metallic object. A voice in my head that I now understood said, "I see the device is working. You can hear my thoughts." I tried not to respond, but he told me to nod yes, and I did it. I had no choice. I just did it. Every time the voice told me to do something, I did it. I tried to signal the rest of the crew, but he told me, "They can no longer hear you. You belong to me now. You are my new creation." I heard laughter, and the voice was back. "Your telepathic abilities are amazing. I will have to have more of you. Now go get the others. I need all of you to finish my plans." "I have no choice. He is in charge now. Release me. I must obey him."
Sounds familiar to you? It didn't to me either, but this is the story of Naturally Disastrous by Tyrell Wood, and we're lucky enough to have the creator and mastermind behind it, Tyrell Wood himself, on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Am I correct? That's how you fit into play with the whole game?
Yeah, that's basically the story from, one of the aliens' point of view, just for fun.
Okay, cool beans. So, yeah, let's see here. So, Tyrell, can you go back to a little bit to the beginning? How did you get into board gaming?
Well, I've always liked board gaming. I've played Risk and Monopoly growing up with my family, and tons of different kinds of card games. And I've always modified the rules a little bit here and there. And then one day we were modifying some rules to another game we were playing, and we said we ought to make a game out of it. And along down the road, we made our first game, and that was back in 2008 when we actually started developing it. It got funded on Kickstarter back in, I want to say 2012-ish, or maybe a little after that, maybe 2013. Anyway, somewhere around there. I'll have to look back through my records. And then it just kind of spiraled from there, and we're a small company, but we're afloat now. We're in business, and we're making money. So.
Well, there you go. So, what was that game the first game that you initially created?
So our first game was called Dragonmage Warfare. It funded on Kickstarter, with just a little under 100 backers, which was pretty good. I mean, we've never had like tons of backers on our games, but we've always, had backers, and it's been great to have fans to help work with it.
Cool beans. So you said you used to modify games to fit rules. Did you do that to Monopoly and Risk?
I did that more to Settlers of Catan. Like, we wanted a war version of Settlers of Catan, so we wanted to play Risk with Settlers of Catan. So we did, and we played Settlers of Catan with Risk, so we're kind of fighting each other. Kind of weird, but that was one of the games me and some friends modified.
Cool beans. So yeah, I never played Settlers of Catan. I'm kind of new to this whole the way tabletop is right now, but I'm a big fan of Risk. Me and my son like to play that.
That's a fun game. I own there's so many different versions of it now, and I own probably 70% of the different versions of them, which makes it fun. But I don't.
Cool. So do you have a favorite one?
I'd have to say the Lord of the Rings Risk is probably my favorite one.
How's that different from the original?
Oh, you have the ring, moves down through the map, and once the ring reaches Mordor, the game kind of ends, and whoever has the most, control or points, it's kind of, goes off of points to win the game. I do enjoy regular old Risk, though, as well.
Cool. So do you have a strategy? What do you start to take over on the regular Risk?
I mean, the Australia strategy is good. The North America strategy is always good. Either one of those usually guarantee you a win.
Cool. Yeah, I always try to start with like Australia or Africa. Well, usually Australia and South America and possibly Africa. But my son, he'll go for like he's 14. Wizard Leaf. He'll go for like Asia and Europe, and he still ends up blowing me out of the water.
Well, of course. If you can hold Asia for one turn, you're usually guaranteed a win, aren't you?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but he seems to do pretty good. It's cool. So you have a new game on Kickstarter. What can you tell us about it?
So the game we currently have on Kickstarter is the expansion, the mother of all expansions, and it's the expansion to Naturally Disastrous. So Naturally Disastrous was funded about a year ago this month, and we shipped our copies out to backers early, and then we started working on an expansion because a lot of our backers wanted an expansion. And so the mother of all expansions basically adds a mothership to the game, and then it also adds a vault that you can explore. And how you play Naturally Disastrous is basically you're aliens, and you get stranded on Earth, and you're trying to get off the planet before the natives, mutate you or steal your technology. Basically, it's a cooperative game with a little bit of a traitor element in it, where if the mad scientist mutates you, you start playing on the side of the game, and if the game wins, you actually win with the game. And that mothership expansion adds a little component that's really awesome. Everybody loves it. And it allows you to get onto the mothership, and allows the mothership to also help the planet heal itself so that it's not hurting you as badly. Makes the game a little bit easier. Gives you some options that are hard to turn down. Like, if the mothership's destroyed, then you lose the game. And the Earthlings are obviously trying to destroy the mothership as well as you play the game, which is pretty fun.
Cool. And it looks like does it come with new tiles as well?
So yeah, it'll come with, there is one new jungle tile that it will come with. And that's, we've play tested that one a lot. We really like it. If you roll an odd or an even number, it triggers that tile. That tile has an odd and an even on either side. So when you roll a D10 die, that triggers the land, the map, or the earth, and that jungle tile adds a little bit more of an element to the game of making it harder to play.
Cool, cool beans. I really like the whole set, how you set up the game. I know we didn't have much time, but I had to show my kids the setup where you put the markers and how you know where to put your people, like with rolling the D10 and D8, I think it was.
I really like that mechanic. I mean, I wanted to make a game that used dice instead of cards for the AI in the game. And so we used the dice, and yeah, it's it's a lot of randomization on the setup, and it's a lot of randomization on playing the game. But what I like about that is Mother Nature is also very random by nature, and so thematically it just fits, you know. And I'm all about theme. If you play this game, there is a ton of theme in the game. I mean, it's just drenched with it.
Cool, cool beans. So where does the inspiration come for Naturally Disastrous?
You know, kind of weird. Me and my son were playing some games, and they've got lots of games where you play, you know, humans, or you play different races of aliens, but there isn't a game out there where you're playing the aliens as good guys and the aliens are trying to help the Earthlings. You know what I mean? I don't think there is a game out there that exists like that. I mean, maybe there is and I don't know about it, but from what I know and my little research on games, I couldn't find one. And so we just thought it would be interesting to play aliens as good guys, and they come to Earth to actually help the Earth instead of hurt it, you know? And that was kind of the base idea. And then we just came up with, we wanted a co-op game, and we wanted to have a trader element in it. And that mad scientist part of the game just really makes the game pop, because, you know, it totally makes you feel like you're playing in Area 51 as one of the aliens being hunted down. And what if you were a good alien and the mad scientist's coming after you to experiment on you and do all of these filthy things that, you know, mad scientists theoretically do to aliens?
Cool, cool beans. So let's see here. Well, yeah, my wife was kind of confused with it. Like, because I was one of the aliens that was invisible the whole time, and then, so you had the mad scientist coming after you. I guess he would come after her because I was invisible. But is Right. Would everybody, like, people have a hard time playing chess with themselves? I guess there's no way to ensure that if you're being both the good guy and the bad guy, that the bad guy's going to actually get you.
No, not really. I mean, well, yeah, there is, because the rules say, you know, you have to move the bad guys one space closer to you. Now, you have a little bit of liberty in deciding what that is, but all of the movement in the game has to be orthogonally, or, you know, vertically or horizontally. So there's no diagonal movement in the game. So you kind of have to make some decisions. And if you're playing a one-player game, you're probably going to get away from the mad scientist fairly quickly, you know. But in a two-player game, we designed this game for couples and in large groups, because we know, like, couples like to sit down and play a co-op game and not have any tension between the two of them sometimes. I mean, that's what we're told by a lot of couples. Some couples like the antagonism in the game. But we made it so in a two-player game, the mad scientist isn't as powerful. But in a 4, 5, 6-player game, you're almost guaranteed someone's going to get mutated. And so that's the way we designed it. And another cool part about this game, the way we designed it, is if your buddies show up late at game night, they just grab a character card and hop in. Because thematically, what if the aliens woke up later, you know? And we kind of threw that around to the idea, and it works out. It just played right into the game. So friends showing up late to game night can just hop in the game and start playing. You know, it's really cool that way. So, I mean, that was one of my favorite design, you know, things that we came across as we were designing this game.
Cool. So during playtesting, was there ever anything that you just had to scrap?
Oh, yeah. So originally when we started, we had, like, really, like, the map pieces were ginormous. I mean, I wanted the map to, like, take up the whole table. Well, this map is still fairly large, and it takes up a decent size on the table, but you know, we found, because we had like a ton of spaces in between each other, you know, we were using D20s instead of D10s and stuff like that. And so, you know, we had to cut the dice back down, and because we were going to use a D20, because I just love the D20 is just extremely random. And we cut that back to a 10-sided die just to kind of make it a little more simple, take up a little bit less room. So that's one of the things we did scrap. The game does play quite a bit differently than, you know, we originally started out with it, but I think that's what games do, you know, to make it simple and make it easy to learn and play. I mean, you can read the rules one time, and then you do have, like, you know, explanations on your card on how to play. There's little tiny yellow boxes on the map that remind you how to operate all the natural disasters and stuff like that, you know. So it's you know, pretty intuitive. You read the rule book once, or you watch a video playthrough from one of the guys that have done one, you know, and it's pretty intuitive. You know, it's not hard to learn at all, and it's really good for people who are new to gaming. That's one thing I really liked about it is it was really good for people who have not played games before.
Cool beans. So let's see here. And so your Kickstarter, it looks like it runs through I want to say the 3rd, or you have about 10 days ago at the time of this recording, through the 3rd of October.
That is correct.
Right?
Yeah, 3rd of October is when we're shutting her down. And you know, the funding isn't the greatest right now for it. I'll admit that, but you know, I'm always optimistic, and we'll relaunch it. And we have other ways to get it funded so that the individuals that are interested in it can still play the game. We would like to use WinGo Publishing to produce this game. They've been great in helping us out. You know, they've given us a lot of, you know, advice on how to organize it so we can fund it through them. So I'm hoping that we can get it funded. You never know. Kickstarter is such a weird thing. You know, it could fund overnight. It might not, but it very well could.
Yeah, you never know, especially that 48-hour, depending on if anybody clicked to remind. I wish that was something that it might be helpful if the creators knew how many people were actually clicking remind me, or is that something you guys...
Yeah, it's not. I wish the Kickstarter would give us access to that, but yeah, no, they do not. And I can kind of see the reason why. It's hard to track everything, you know. But...
Cool. So what's been the hardest thing with... So you said you did a Kickstarter before. What's the hardest thing with running a Kickstarter?
You really... A Kickstarter... you know, the more I do it, the more I learn that you really need to have as many backers as you can up front, right when you know, before you even start the campaign. And I know that I had quite a few people lined up that were interested in it, whether they didn't follow through or whatever, I don't know. But you know, the people that are on there, they're really awesome backers, and I sure appreciate their support. And even if we don't get funded, you know, it's just great to see that there are people interested, and there are people that would like to play this game.
Cool beans. Let's see here. So if you do end up, it doesn't end up funding for some reason, do you have a plan on a relaunch, a date or whatnot?
I don't have a plan yet. It'll probably be a month from the ending date. You know, we're going to let this one play out. We're not going to cancel it. In the past, when you have a campaign go south, then you just cancel it. But this one we're not going to cancel, and we'll probably relaunch it with a lower funding goal, depending on what we think we can get away with or what we can do to, you know, because it's not cheap to build a game. You know, these games are... They keep, you know, the prices keep going up, materials costs keep going up and stuff like that, and it is what it is, you know. So, you know, I really want to use WinGo Publishing for the next print run if I can, just because, you know, they make such good products. I have a few games, you know, from them that were manufactured by them, and they do a really good job. So
What games do you have that are manufactured by them?
So there's one called Siege of Verdun. I'm trying to remember what the other one is called. I think it's a kid game. I might have to run and look on my shelf. But I know I when I was looking through my games, I saw, you know, quite a few that I had. I think it's something. It's got a barn on it or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. And then there's another one that's called Captains. I've got a copy of that one. So.
Yeah, I see Captains on their web. Go looking at their website. Yeah, it looks like they have quite a few games and whatnot that they've helped with anyway.
Oh yeah. That Siege of Verdun, I'll put a plug in for that one because that's a fun game. You know, I've played it a couple times, and anybody who wants to pick that one up, it's actually, you know, it's in depth and it's fun to play. So.
Oh, cool! Yeah, I see that here, Siege of Verdun. What can you tell us about that one?
So it basically, you know, it's a map. Different guys on the map are trying to be in control of Verdun when the game ends. I just know the creator of it. He runs Just Got Played. It's a show out of Florida. They do a really good job on their on their reviews. They do like a 5-minute review in a pub down in Florida, and they just do a really funny job. I love their work. So
cool. So Just Got Played. Cool.
Yeah, Just Got Played by Patrick. His name is Patrick Siebert. I just may have messed up his name. I just want to make sure I get it right.
Cool.
Yeah, it's Patrick Siebert, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that is his name. And then he has a partner named Brian Fiore. They both do it together, and they do a really good job. So.
And they made Siege of Verdun.
Yeah, Patrick made Siege of Verdun. Yeah.
Cool. I want to say the kid looking at their site, the barn one might be Race to the Barm.
Is that what it's called? Okay.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay, yeah, it sounds right.
Cool beans. So let's see here. Yeah, so they look like they're pretty good. I know I have a friend that works with them. I believe his name is David Lockwood.
Oh, okay.
I think he WinGo, or he did previously. I don't remember, one of the two. Um, yeah, so that's pretty cool. So have you used them in the past, or who
No.
published it last?
So the last game we self-published. We have all the equipment and everything to actually publish games ourselves. So we're getting pretty good at making prototypes, and we make a pretty fancy prototype now. But we just want to go with, doing it yourself. It takes up a lot of time, and our original first print run, we sold about 300 games. And after making 300 games, in our little tiny shop here, it's just a lot of work, and we want to get away from that. And so that's why we're headed to WinGo.
Cool, there you go. So do you do this full time, or do you have something else that funds a hobby?
No, this is my hobby. So I'm actually an engineer, professional engineer, and I work for the state of Utah. I build their roads. That's my main source of income. That's what kind of fuels the family and fuels the hobby. Naturally Disastrous, though, that one actually paid for itself, and I've sold so many additional copies that it's paid for itself, and it's out of the red. So Dragonmage Warfare never came out of the red, but this one did, and so that's why we've continued with it.
Cool. So do you have anything in the hopper after you get done with this one?
Yeah, we do. We're working on an asymmetrical game. We've been working on it since about 2012. And then, we saw Vast the Crystal Kingdom, or the Crystal Caverns come out. That one's a great game to play, by the way. Anybody who hasn't played it needs to play that one. And that one's the truest asymmetrical game you could ever get. And the one we're working on now, we've still got a lot of play testing to do before it'll be, ready for production. But and I don't want to spill too much about it, but it's just kind of a planet that there's several different races are kind of fighting over it, sort of trying to balance out resources and stuff like that.
Cool beans. So what happens when they run out of roads that they didn't make in Utah?
Yeah, that'll never happen. I'm sorry, we always have to redo roads. And if you're driving...
Oh, so you're the cause of all the road construction?
Yeah, I'm one of the reasons. Yeah, I live in southern Utah, so if you drive through southern Utah, I'm probably involved with the construction that's there.
Oh boy, there you go. So now you guys know who to blame it on, but...
That's right. You can cuss my name if you want. I won't feel bad. I've got pretty thick skin.
So what if somebody's listening, per se, they probably drove off the road or whatnot and just woke up because they probably fell asleep due to my voice. It wouldn't be because of your game, but if somebody suddenly woke up and they're listening right now, why should they take a chance on this expansion as opposed to all the games that are out there on the Kickstarter especially?
So, this game is just a really good family-friendly game. It's fun to play. It only takes, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how many people you got in the game. And it's lots of randomization, but you have a lot of strategy that you got to plan around. At the beginning of every round, you guys can strategize together who should go first and stuff like that. And once you've decided, then you play out the round, and who knows what's going to happen to you. But if your strategy pans out, then you come out on top. But I'd say that this game is really exciting. It gets really intense, and I love creating games that are intense for people, because if you've got that tense feeling, then you want to play it again. If you don't win it, and it is a hard game to win, it's not the easiest game to win, but we've got some adjusting factors in there that you can adjust certain levels of things to make it easier or harder for yourself if you'd like. But it's totally worth the time. It's worth your dime, and I just hope people enjoy playing the game. That's what it's really all about for me, is that we're having fun playing games.
Cool beans. So, what if somebody doesn't have the original game?
Yeah, you can. So we have several pledge levels. We've got a $25 pledge level for just the expansion, and if you want to get just the base game, you can. But we also have a package that gets you the base game and this expansion, and then we have a package, a backing level where you can name one of the new characters that are going to come out in the game, and then we also have an all-in pledge of $100, and that'll include some extra stuff as well, that you could actually get if you wanted to. But there's a game where one that you can design a character and stuff like that too. So
cool. Well, there you go. Now, I don't know if you've heard any of our podcasts or whatnot, but the next section on the podcast is Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an application that you might be using, whether it be for the cellular phone or tablet or computer or video game. It doesn't have to be related to board games or not. Is there an application you use a lot of, Tyrell?
I'll be honest. I probably use my Gmail app the most because I'm always checking my emails.
There you go.
That's probably the one I use a lot.
Okay, so what do you like about it?
Oh, it's easy to use and it's easy for me to get my emails and stuff like that. So with it, I don't want to know. I don't know. It's just a good app, and I like Gmail.
If you own the rights to it, what would you do to make the application better?
Oh, Google, man. I did used to work for IBM, but I gotta say, if I own the rights to it, there is like a promotion, a deal there where it saves all of the stuff that are promotions for you.
Uh-huh.
I'd have those just not be there probably. I'd delete some of that stuff.
So they don't have those promotion emails that come at the top?
Yeah, I really could care less about them, and they're always there, and that's the one thing that just bugs me. I always overlook it, and I'm sure I can change the settings to get rid of it, but I'm too lazy to do so right now.
Well, there you go. So if anybody from Google is listening, that's what Tyrell would do to make the application a little bit better. So if you're listening out there, Google.
Well, I'm sure they are. They're everywhere, and they're a good company. They're a great
Cool.
company.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, minus coming to southern Utah to stalk you, how would they go about doing that, Tyrell?
So the best way to get a hold of us is, at our email, silverlakegames@gmail.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us. That we answer emails pretty quickly.
Cool. So and we'll make sure we leave all this in the show notes so people won't have to go ahead and type it into their phones or whatnot. They can just click the link and hopefully it should take them to the Kickstarter page or any of these other links or whatnot. Cool. Well, yeah, we really appreciate you coming on, getting geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. Thanks for helping out. And if you ever have any questions, give me a holler and I'll answer your questions about playing the game. But thank you for your time, and hopefully we can do it again sometime if we have another Kickstarter.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Tyrell.
Thank you.
So, quick disclosure on this episode. We have Snackleaf in the room with us, and so he may be making a little bit of noise, so just bear with me. And so we have today for Kickstarter Corner, it's just me, and I guess you might hear a little bit of noise coming from Snackleaf. We have Cheese Quest. Make sure you go check that out. It's a quest to get the most cheese. You want to get 2 and bring them back to the room before your friends do a game of sabotage and trying to do or work a movement. Well, I guess you're trying to move the cheese and sabotage your friends. That's a cool game. I had I interviewed him a while back ago. That runs through the 12th of October. And then we also have Rooster Rush. That is where you're trying to get the rooster across the street safely. That's by Mayday Games, and it runs for a couple more weeks here. Go check that out. And then we also have Swords and Cells, where you can win coinage for your gamage over at thegiveawaygeek.com, and that's a pretty cool, fun game. And then Jonathan Thompson has a great thing going on with where he's trying to do the Cold Cash War, which is a RPG setting for both the Cepheus system as well as Savage World. Check them out on the Kickstarter. They're almost ending the 5th of October, and Swords and Cells ends the 13th of October. Dawn of the Archmage by Dave Killingsworth of Solar Flare Games. So that's a fun one. Check it out. They got cool minis and everything like that. So check that one out. And they run through the 11th of October. Also, like I said before, go ahead and check out Robotech on Netflix. You can watch a great show. I haven't got into it, the full meat of it, but Solar Flare Games will be creating that. Yeah, so check that out. You can watch it. You can watch that on Netflix for whatever the Netflix subscription price is, and then look for Robotech releasing to game stores pretty soon. I think next year sometime. Then we got Scrooge. Can you out Scrooge? That's almost over. They just recently funded, so that's great. And then we got Arcade Fighter, in which you can bring your tag team arcade fighting to the tabletop, running through the 5th of October. Check them out on the Kickstarter. And then we have Ancient Artifacts. They just barely funded as well. Check out Ancient Artifacts, which is a roll and write game that is like which is a roll and write game, a lot like Indiana Jones for 1 to 4 players. They recently funded, and they're at $12,414 out of $11,000, trying to go for 13.5 so they can get some cool engraved dice. They have 15 hours to go at the time of this recording, so a little bit less than that by the time I get this posted, but it's going to be pretty soon here. And then, yeah, like I said, be aware we have Knack Leaf, who is making a little bit of noise, so sorry about that. And then we got Angel Blood Art Publishing. After 13 years, they finally come out with their role-playing game. So check that out. That's going to make everyone a game changer. I don't know how I could have forgotten this, but we almost forgot one more game to give you. Well, not give you, but to tell you about over on the Kickstarter Corner. What is that, you may ask? Well, it's none other than Frontier the card game. Become the greatest outlaw that ever lived with the awesomely Western card game by collecting notoriety and bounty. Yeehaw! And that should be, we'll be reviewing that soon, as I will be getting that, as well as Logan Chops will be getting it and putting it up on his channel as well. Then, don't forget, well, I guess I did say one, but there's actually two. Don't forget to check out the great Mark McKinnon of Wreck and Ruin fame will have his game coming to the Kickstarters next week sometime. It is called Wreck and Ruin, and it is a pretty fun game from what I've heard. I can't wait. It sounds like I'll be checking that out as well. Wreck and Ruin is the name of the game, and it is a challenge your friends and the wasteland itself in a post-apocalyptic battle for resources. Shoot, ram, and wreck your way to victory. And what I love about this game is, let's see if I can find it here for you on their Kickstarter page. It is something I really love. I can't say it very correctly. A dash of vehicular violence for you and your friends. I just got confirmation as well. That is launching the 3rd of October from Mark McKinnon at Wreck and Ruin fame. So check it out on the Kickstarters come the 3rd of October. Don't say I didn't tell you so. And look for Mark McKinnon and Richard Simpson doing movie voices over on We're Not Wizards podcast. We'll catch you all on the flip side. Now, do you want to be on Getting Geeky with Game Relief? Go ahead and contact us over at GameReliefGo.com. Yeah, contact us there. That'd be great. We'd love to feature your game or have you on the show. And if you're over in Ukraine or anywhere else besides the United States, or even in the United States, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email at GameRelief@GameReliefGo.com. Kind of like Pokemon Go, but GameReliefGo.com. Thank you for listening to Getting Geeky with Game Relief. We can't wait to hear from you next time. Now, you all go ahead and get geeky or stay geeky and do that with friends and family. This is the Game Relief signing out. Have a great week.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.